What if I told you that the words you speak in prayer have the power to bend reality itself? That every whispered petition, every desperate plea, every faith-filled declaration is more than just words spoken into the void, but a force that can move the very hand of God. There is a mystery hidden in plain sight, one that few truly understand. Prayer is not meant to be weak, passive, or uncertain. It is not the mere repetition of words, hoping that some divine force might take notice. No. True prayer, burning prayer, ignites the heavens, shakes the foundations of the unseen, and compels a response. Throughout history, the greatest miracles were not born out of hesitation, but from those who dared to pray with an unshakable certainty. Elijah called down fire from the sky, not with uncertainty but with boldness. Daniel prayed for 21 days, refusing to accept silence as an answer, until the heavens responded. Even Christ himself, in the Garden of Gethsemane, prayed with such intensity that his sweat became like drops of blood. Prayer is not just an act of devotion, it is a divine key, capable of unlocking doors no man can shut, and yet so many feel unheard. They pray, but the heavens seem silent. They cry out, but their situations remain unchanged. Why? Is God indifferent? Is he withholding his blessings? Or could it be that the power of their prayers is being hindered by something unseen? The truth is, not all prayers move the hand of God. There is a divine order, a spiritual mechanism, that determines whether a prayer is received as a whisper in the wind or a command that demands response. Those who understand this hidden structure, those who know how to pray with fire, walk in undeniable favor. They see breakthroughs that others call impossible. They move through life with the certainty that when they speak, heaven listens. If you have ever wondered why some prayers seem to be answered swiftly, while others feel like they drift away unanswered, then listen closely. Because what you are about to hear will transform the way you pray forever. Faith is the unseen force that bridges the human and the divine. Without it, prayer is nothing more than words. With it, even the impossible bends to your will. Imagine standing before a locked door. You have been told that on the other side lies every blessing you have ever sought: healing, abundance, breakthrough, peace. And yet you knock, hoping that it will open. Some plead, some beg, some even give up when there is no answer. But the ones who understand faith do not knock. They turn the handle. They walk through with the confidence of someone who knows that what is behind that door was already meant for them. When Jesus said, "Whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours," he was revealing something profound. The moment you pray, heaven has already responded. But here is where most fall short. Belief is not a future expectation. It is a present certainty. You do not wait to see before you believe. You believe first and then you see. But what happens when you pray with unwavering faith and yet see no change? The answer lies in persistence. In the book of Daniel, the prophet fasted and prayed for 3 weeks before he received his answer. But when the angel arrived, he revealed something astonishing. Daniel's prayer had been heard on the first day. The delay was not from God. It was the result of a spiritual battle in the unseen realm. This is why some prayers require more than a single utterance. Some breakthroughs demand a relentless, unyielding spirit. The persistent widow in Jesus' parable was not answered because of her request, but because she refused to be ignored. She kept knocking, kept demanding until justice was granted. Prayer is not merely asking, it is warfare. There are forces that seek to hinder, to delay, to block what has already been released for you. Some doors will not open unless they are shaken by prayers that do not waver. And this is where spiritual warfare comes in. There are moments when prayer must become a battle cry, when words must be spoken with the authority of one who knows that their inheritance is being withheld. Midnight prayers, fasting, declarations, these are not rituals, they are weapons. They dismantle spiritual resistance and force the release of what rightfully belongs to you. But there is one final key, the pillar upon which all effective prayers rest, the alignment with divine will. You cannot twist the hand of God to fit your own desires. You cannot demand a blessing that was never yours to claim. The most powerful prayers are the ones that echo the heart of God. When your words align with His will, resistance crumbles. And how do you know if your prayers align with His plan? It is simpler than you think. The closer you draw to Him, the clearer His voice becomes. The more you surrender, the more your desires become reflections of His own. This is not about striving, it is about trust. It is about knowing that when you walk in divine will, lack becomes a myth, struggle becomes unnecessary, and every need is met before you even ask. There is a lie that has been whispered for generations, a lie that keeps people bound in cycles of scarcity and struggle. The lie is this: that God tests your faith by withholding financial blessings, that lack is a sign of humility, that suffering is a spiritual badge of honor. This deception has kept many in poverty, believing that it is God's will for them to barely survive. But if God is a father and we are His children, then what kind of father desires suffering for his own? If an earthly parent desires abundance, security, and provision for their child, how much more does our Heavenly Father desire for us? Throughout the Scriptures, wealth is never condemned, but the love of money is. And there is a difference. True divine abundance is not about greed, it is about alignment. It is about stepping into the overflow that was meant not just for you, but to be used as a tool to uplift, to build, to expand the kingdom of God. King Solomon, the wealthiest man in history, did not receive his riches because he asked for them. He received them because his heart was aligned with wisdom. And wisdom, above all else, is knowing that abundance is not something you chase. It is something you attract when you step into divine favor. So why do so many struggle? The answer is simple: because they have not yet activated the spiritual laws of provision. There is a divine economy that does not operate like the world's system. It is not bound by recessions, markets, or financial instability. It is governed by faith, by thanksgiving, and by divine decree. There are those who live in constant lack, not because they have not worked hard enough, but because they have never declared abundance over their lives. They have never prayed with the authority of someone who knows that prosperity is not a reward, it is an inheritance. When Jesus fed the 5,000, He did not beg for a miracle. He gave thanks, and in that act the supernatural was activated. The same principle applies to financial prayers. Complaining about what you lack creates more lack. Speaking words of doubt cancels the very blessings waiting to manifest. But prayers of gratitude, spoken as though the answer has already come, open the floodgates of provision. You must stop seeing yourself as someone in need, hoping for scraps of favor. You are a child of the King. You are not meant to struggle. You are not meant to barely get by. And the moment you realize this truth, the moment you pray from this place of certainty, everything begins to shift. Your financial breakthrough is already set in motion. It is waiting for you to claim it, not with empty words, but with faith-filled declarations, not with fear, but with expectation. And the moment you align with this reality, the river of divine provision will begin to flow, unrestricted, unstoppable, and unending. There is a hidden power in the words you speak over your relationships. Every interaction, every thought, every emotion is influenced by the unseen forces that surround you. When you understand this, you begin to realize that relationships are not merely the result of circumstance, but of spiritual alignment. The connections in your life, your friendships, your family bonds, your romantic relationships, are either strengthened or weakened by the words you release into the atmosphere. How many relationships have been lost because of words spoken in anger? How many destinies have been altered because of curses spoken unknowingly? Most people do not realize that every word carries energy, and what you speak into your relationships will either bring life or destruction. The Bible says, "Death and life are in the power of the tongue." This is not a metaphor. It is a spiritual law. Prayers over your relationships are not just about asking for peace or harmony. They are about spiritual protection. There are forces that seek to bring division, to plant seeds of distrust, to destroy what was meant to be a source of strength in your life. This is why prayer is not optional. It is a necessity. Many relationships suffer because people do not understand how to pray over them. They react instead of interceding. They fight with words instead of fighting in the Spirit. But when you begin to pray with authority over your relationships, everything shifts. Marriages that seemed beyond repair find healing. Friendships that were strained for years suddenly reconnect. Family wounds that were thought to be permanent begin to mend. There is a divine design for every connection in your life. Some people are meant to walk with you for a season, while others are meant to be with you for a lifetime. But if you do not pray over your relationships, you may push away what was, meant to stay, and hold on to what was meant to go. Blessing others in prayer is one of the most powerful things you can do. It not only strengthens them, but it releases divine favor over your own life. Jesus commanded us to pray even for our enemies, not because they deserve it, but because prayer breaks chains in ways human effort never could. The more you bless, the more you are blessed. The more you release, the more you receive. If you have ever felt the pain of a broken relationship, if you have ever struggled with bitterness, unforgiveness, or heartbreak, then now is the time to shift your prayers. Stop focusing on the problem and start speaking life. Begin declaring healing over your connections. Begin praying for restoration, not just in words, but in faith. And watch as divine intervention takes place, bringing reconciliation where there was once division, and love where there was once distance. There is a force within you that can heal what no medicine can fix, a power that has been used for centuries, yet remains misunderstood. This force is not found in pills or prescriptions. It is activated through the words you speak, the faith you carry, and the prayers you release. Science is only now beginning to confirm what ancient wisdom has always known. The body responds to belief. Studies have shown that thoughts and emotions influence the immune system, that stress and anxiety weaken the body, and that those who pray with faith experience healing at rates that defy explanation. But this is not new knowledge. In the scriptures, we see Jesus healing with words alone. He did not prescribe medication. He did not perform rituals. He spoke, and the sick were made well. He commanded, and the broken were restored. So why do so many still suffer? Why do some cry out for healing and yet see no change? The answer is found in the alignment of spirit and body. Healing prayers are not about begging for relief. They are about stepping into divine authority. Your body is not separate from your spirit. What happens in the unseen world manifests in the physical. This is why fear, worry, and bitterness lead to sickness, while peace, joy, and faith bring restoration. When you pray for healing, you are not merely asking. You are activating a reality that already exists in the divine realm. The words you speak over your body matter. If you constantly say, "I am always sick," then sickness will cling to you. If you declare, "My body is weak," then weakness will follow. But if you begin to speak life, if you begin to declare, "My body is strong, my cells are whole, my healing is here," then healing begins to take root. Many believe that healing is something that happens instantly, and while miracles do occur, healing is often a process of alignment. It is aligning your thoughts, your words, and your faith with the truth that divine health is your birthright. There are countless testimonies of those who have experienced supernatural healing through faith alone, terminal illnesses disappearing, chronic pain vanishing, doctors left baffled by recoveries that should not have been possible. These are not coincidences. They are manifestations of divine power. If you are seeking healing, shift the way you pray. Stop focusing on the illness and start declaring the outcome. Do not ask as though you are uncertain. Declare as though it has already been done. Step into the truth that your body is not broken. It is in the process of being restored. Healing is not just about the physical. Emotional wounds must also be addressed. Trauma, grief, and resentment create sickness just as much as disease does. This is why true healing prayers involve more than just the body. They involve the soul. Release what you have been holding on to. Forgive what has been weighing you down. And as you do, watch as your body responds, as strength returns, as pain dissolves, as healing becomes your new reality. There is a secret hidden within the midnight hour, a mystery that has been known by the prophets, the mystics, and the spiritually awakened for generations. It is the secret of midnight prayers, the time when the veil between the seen and the unseen is at its thinnest, when the natural world is still and the spiritual realm is most active. If you have ever woken up in the middle of the night for no reason, if you have ever felt a stirring in your spirit while the world around you slept, then you have already experienced this pull. The question is, did you respond? Paul and Silas understood this mystery. When they were imprisoned, they did not wait until morning to pray. They did not wait for convenience. They began to cry out to God at midnight, and the very foundations of the prison shook. Chains broke. Doors flung open. What should have taken years, what should have been impossible, happened in an instant. Midnight prayers are not ordinary prayers. They are prayers of activation, prayers that break strongholds, prayers that disrupt the plans of the enemy before they can take root. It is no coincidence that spiritual attacks often intensify at night. This is when darkness operates. But it is also when those who know the power of prayer can dismantle those attacks before they manifest. If you are seeking a breakthrough, if you feel like something is blocking your progress, if you have been facing resistance that seems unnatural, then you must begin to pray in the midnight hour. There is a power in this time that cannot be accessed during the day. Start small. Wake up at midnight and begin with worship. Declare the goodness of God. Speak life over your situation. Break every chain of delay, every spirit of lack, every force that seeks to hinder your purpose. And as you do, watch how things begin to shift. This is not a ritual, it is a revelation. It is not about the time itself, but about what happens in the spirit realm during these moments. Those who understand this do not remain bound. They do not live in delay. They do not walk in fear. They move with divine acceleration. They walk in open doors. They experience miracles that others call impossible. And now so will you. There is a realm of prayer that many never step into, a level where requests fade and transformation begins. It is the point where prayer ceases to be a plea and becomes a declaration, where words no longer beg but command, where faith does not hope but knows. This is the highest form of prayer, the prayer of alignment. Most people approach prayer from a place of need. They ask, they wait, and they hope. But those who understand the deeper mysteries of prayer do not ask as though they are unsure. They step into the reality of what has already been given. When Jesus said, "It is finished," he was not speaking poetically. He was revealing a spiritual law. What you seek has already been set in motion. What you pray for has already been assigned to you. But until you step into this awareness, you will continue to pray as though you are waiting rather than receiving. When you begin to move beyond requests and into divine alignment, your life changes. You no longer pray for financial breakthrough. You declare abundance. You no longer pray for healing. You claim divine health. You no longer pray for guidance. You walk in the certainty that every step is already ordered. This is not arrogance. This is faith in its highest form. When you reach this level, you do not just speak prayers, you become a living, breathing prayer. Your life itself becomes a testament to the power of God. Everything you touch prospers. Every word you speak carries weight. Every action you take is infused with divine favor. This is why some people walk in blessings effortlessly, while others struggle for years. The difference is not in God's willingness to provide. The difference is in their understanding of divine law. Those who align with the will of God do not chase blessings. Blessings chase them. If you want to move the hand of God, stop asking for things that have already been given. Instead, step into the reality of those blessings. Speak as if you already have them. Live as if they are already yours, and watch as the heavens open, not because you begged, but because you believed. A shift is taking place. Right now, in this very moment, something is stirring in the unseen. Doors are opening, chains are breaking. The supernatural is aligning with the natural, and divine provision is being released. But the question is, are you ready to receive it? For too long, people have believed that blessings are unpredictable, that miracles happen at random, that favor is reserved for a chosen few. But the truth is, divine abundance is not a mystery, it is a system. a spiritual law that, when understood, can be activated at will. Think of a river. It does not struggle to flow. It does not fight against itself. It moves with ease because it is aligned with its source. This is the nature of divine provision. When you are aligned, blessings do not come with difficulty. They come naturally, but too many people are like dams. They block the flow of abundance with doubt, fear, and limiting beliefs. They pray for financial blessings while simultaneously believing that money is hard to come by. They ask for success while fearing failure. They seek healing while dwelling on sickness. This is why breakthroughs feel delayed, not because God is withholding, but because alignment has not yet taken place. The moment you remove the blockages, everything shifts. The moment you stop resisting, abundance flows. This is why Jesus said, "According to your faith, let it be done to you." Because faith is not just belief, it is the force that determines the flow of your life. When you embrace this truth, you stop chasing wealth. You stop worrying about the future. You stop wondering when your blessings will come. You live in the knowing that they are already here, moving towards you, waiting for you to step into them. And when you do, the floodgates open. You are no longer waiting. You are walking in divine timing. You are no longer hoping. You are experiencing. And your life becomes a testimony of what happens when a person fully aligns with the supernatural flow of God's abundance. This is the moment where everything changes, the moment where prayer moves from concept to reality, from theory to experience. You have heard the words. You have received the revelation. Now it is time to activate. Many will hear this message and feel inspired. But inspiration alone does not change lives. Action does. Alignment does. Faith in motion does. Right now, the heavens are waiting for your response. The breakthrough you have been praying for is waiting for your agreement. The abundance that has been assigned to your life is waiting for you to claim it. If you are ready to step into divine provision, then declare it now. Speak it aloud. I am aligned with the abundance of God. Every need in my life is already met. I walk in supernatural favor. These are not just words. These are declarations of faith. And faith, when spoken, moves mountains. If this message has resonated with you, if you know deep in your spirit that this is the moment of activation, then do not keep it to yourself. Declare it in the comments. Type, "I receive it," as a sign of alignment. Let your words be recorded in the realm of faith. And if you are ready for more, if you are ready to step into a life where blessings are not occasional but constant, then commit to this path. Speak these prayers daily. Walk in this truth relentlessly, and watch as everything in your life begins to shift. Because when you move in faith, heaven moves in response. And the hand of God, once extended, does not withdraw. It continues to release, to bless, to pour out, until your life overflows with the evidence of His power. Now is your time. Step into it fully and never look back.